Welcome to Walking with Jesus Bible Study. We're going to be in the book of Psalms, chapter 139, verse 14. Oh, there it is. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. And I'm going to repeat that. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. God puts a lot of detail into everything that he does. This Bible, these scriptures are very detailed. In fact, it's full of mysteries upon mysteries. And each verse has an even more meaning than the meaning that is plain as day as we read it. It goes into deeper and further than that. It has a lot of golden nuggets and just a lot of beautiful, beautiful insights. The way he made trees, the roots, the wood, the branches, the bark on the outside, the leaves that spring forth. Some produce fruit, some produce flowers, some give off nuts. The way it just sucks the water up out of the ground through the roots. The way the top of the trees and the leaves just give off this oxygen so we can breathe this air. The way the human mind works. You know, we think computers are very smart, but our brain is no different than a computer. The way a caterpillar lives its life when all this little thing with all these little legs, then it goes into a cocoon and comes out as big beautiful butterfly. The details, the intelligence that he puts into all that he does. And yet it says in the scriptures that every hair on your head is numbered. That he knew who you was before he formed you into your mother's womb. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. That's love. We each were born and made at a specific time. Placed in certain situations so that we can grow and learn and experience the things that we experience. And some may be horrific, some may be lovely, some are very much all just lessons. No life is the same. No one grows up the same. We all have something to learn, and we all have something to give, and we all have something to teach other people. There's a reason for each and every single one of us. There's a purpose for each and every single one of us. No one is better than the other person. For each one matters. Every grain of sand matters. Every pebble upon this earth matters. Every rock inside of a mountain matters. You know, a lot of people want to place like a number scared or things to be perfect by the way things looked or the outcome. See, we as the world, we see things on the outer appearance, but God sees the inside. And so just like when, I forgot his name. Lord, I just had it right there, and because I went to go say his name, it went off my tongue, but, starts with the S and it's not. Samuel. There we go. I was going to say Samuel, but then Saul came up and I knew Saul wasn't right, but when Samuel went to go to David's house, You know, God says, don't look at the outside appearance. I'm going for the inside. And so we as humans, we love to judge the outside. And we've done it for generation to generation. And we have become these cruel, evil monsters in doing so. Because in the early generations, people used to believe that if you was born with some kind of deformity or disability, they spoke evil about you, said that, oh, you must have done something. You and your family has done some evil and God is punishing you. In fact, when Jesus was walking on this earth, the disciples said, you know what? God, this man is blind. He was born blind. So who committed the sin? Him or his parents? And he says, neither. But he was born for my glory, for my power. And Jesus healed him. It's so sad to realize when you go back in history and realize the reason why the circus began, you know, for most, the freak show was because people just hated the outer appearance of the way some people were born. And before they even become freak shows, that, you know, people used to kill and mass murder all babies who was either born, you know, with a deformity or were extra or just out of the ordinary. May God have mercy on those people's souls for the way that they have acted and treated such people. That even still to this day, to this very day, we are bullies. We are evil. We still judge on the outside appearance. Well, we're not, first of all, we're not supposed to be judging at all. There's a lot of people that say, oh, it says in the book a lot of times to judge. No, it doesn't. You're taking his word out of context. It says, do not judge. A bunch of times. That the only time it ever speaks of judging was to be as a court of law in Moses. To separate, to judge out of crimes. Not to judge other people, but to solve a crime that has been committing. That's not placing judgment. That's making a righteous judgment on solving something that is criminal. On judging if that was right or wrong. We are supposed to correct and we are to expose. And everything that we do, we are to do in love. So most people, when they go to expose, they ain't exposing in love, and nor are they doing it in a correcting matter. They're doing it in a judging matter. For it says over and over again in the scripture, there's only one judge. And there's only one that is a righteous and just judge, and that is God. It also speaks that there is only going to be one judgment day. But yet over and over again, we people love to place judgment upon others. We love to judge their outside appearance. We make it a habit. We always judge somebody by the way they look, by the way they talk, by the way they dress, what car they have, what house they have, or how much money they have. Judging, judging, and judging, and judging, and passing judgment. How sad. We tend to miss out on some great things. We need to see things as God sees it from the inside, because we are all made wonderfully, and He wonderfully made us for a reason and for a purpose. We need to thank Him. There's a lot of great people who have the biggest and most purest hearts. But a lot of people would never know that because they judge the outer appearance. Instead of looking at the heart and the character, what type of person they are, they judge because they either conjoined twins or they have 3 legs, 4 legs, no arm, no legs, 2 heads. And yet there is also some people that have gone through certain accidents in their life. So they may not even been born that way. Maybe somebody threw some acid in their face, and so they have become this melted face, and there's been some that's just gone through fires, whether in war, blown up by an IED, lost a leg, an arm, or just simply just burnt up. Somebody who was shot themselves and survived. Stabbed, left for dead, but survived, and just got all scarred up. And yet we want to say harsh things, we want to laugh, we want to make fun of, because we're too busy judging and looking on the outside. How sad, how little, how insignificant your life must be to laugh, to point at, and to prejudge such people. God knows all things. He knew that when that person went off to war, how they was going to come home if they made it home. You know, many of wives have left their men, or vice versa, the men have left their wives who's gone through such extreme, tragic, horrific things in their life and did not stand by them. When they made a vow before God, said, I will love you through sickness and health, to death do us apart. It's so sad that their love could not surpass an accident or a deformness or whatever the person had suffered, that they can no longer be there. It's too much to look at. May God have mercy on their souls. Whatever excuse or reasoning, when they go and stand before God on Judgment Day, could you imagine saying that to God on Judgment Day? Could you imagine saying such words? The words that you use, or the reasoning or the excuses that came out of your mouth for this or that you gave to that spouse, for the way they looked or what happened to them, that you could no longer be there. It is sad. Not just that, but just the people. How you made fun of them, what you said, how you laughed. Man, I don't bother going on lives at all, because it's so sad how they do some of these people, the comments that people say to all these, you know, handicapped or misfortunate people, deformities. It's cruel, and they sit there and laugh and they think it's funny. And then people cheer and they egg it on. Could you imagine being there, standing in front of God, and He has you to repeat those same jokes, those same comments to Him, and see if He will laugh, see if He finds it funny, because He created that. He made those people, and you're mocking His creation. We got to remember that we are all, no matter what we look like, inside or out, that God created us. And He created us for a reason and for a purpose. And it doesn't matter what we look like, how we ended up, or how we got to the situation we got there. We still are God's. We still belong to Him. And He knew that those things was going to happen, accidents or not. So if there's something that when it comes to it, if you couldn't sit there and say it to God, then why would you say it to anybody else?